I don't know if anybody's ever watched Shay Shay, Club Shay Shay with Shannon. Today he interviewed Roy Wood Jr., and I thought it was a fascinating show. If you could show the first thumbnail, this is the ending of mainstream media as we know it. You can't find truth there. You can't find people that have any backbones. So for a lot of people, this was the ending, and I think Trevor Noah saw it first. So if we could begin the first clip.
What did you learn from the Don Lemon fire? He had been there for 17 years. He'd been held in very high esteem. He'd done a great job. I think he does a great job. What did you learn? Because I think he said something about they fired him because I think he said like Nikki Haley is past her prime. And maybe they used
Well, that's what they said. But was that the reason? But they saying what the reason might be is two different things. Right. I think if you really look at it, knowing what we know now that we're post Jimmy Kimmel, I think that a lot, and even Amber Ruffin and her beef with the White House Correspondents Association, with them pulling her off the dinner because they wanted her to be both-sided with her jokes. I think that what happened to Don Lemon was really a precursor to some of the media censorship that we see starting to happen now, where you have particular organizations that are gonna, try and make a particular head roll or settle a lawsuit with the administration, all in the sake of making sure that the messaging is a little more centrist and a little bit more on brand for whatever will benefit the company's bottom line. I think a lot of what Don Lemon was starting to say at that network, and keep in mind, this is also after Don had gotten into it with Vivek Ramaswamy on the air, and they were told, hey, keep the questions over here, but Don was like, nah, the meat is over here. I learned a lot, really in a lot of ways, man, because, the Don Lemon firing also showed me what the network, what CNN at that time, under that leadership at the time, was the way they were trying to turn the network into, let's be a little less liberal, let's try and be a little bit more centrist. Don, if you start getting out of line, we're going to put the heavy hand on you. And I couldn't see all of that from the outside at the time. And, when Don got fired the same week as Tucker Carlson, which was also the same week I did the White House Correspondents' Dinner. And I went harder at Don than I should have at that time. And we tight work now. And to Don's credit, because he was the one who reached out to me and we talked a little bit about it. And he goes, here's what you're not seeing. Here's what you need to be more. He filled in the picture for me.
Okay.
I wrote a joke with one eye, covered up. And so when I look at media now, and then now being on, I guess, kind of the inside of the network, it's hard to say that I'm in the inside of CNN. I work on a Saturday, bro. Don't nobody be there.
For a second.
You been in the building on the I can steal shit. Don't nobody.
Can you hear me? Oh, we can stop here for a second, because that's why a lot of people have a lot of respect for Don Lemon. He wouldn't bend the knee, and I really appreciate him not bending the knee, because what he did was open it up for independent media. He's one of the founders of the independent media, and he's made other people feel that they could do the same now. If anybody else would like to respond right now.
Yeah, I think he blazed a trail. I mean, they had independent, because Midas Touch was definitely out there. However, he blazed the trail to show that Acosta, Joy Reid, and those that was a part of the media. Hey, guys, if they're censoring you, come on over to free speech and be able to really. The reason why I like this segment that you're showing is to show how Don really, even though he went hard on Don at the Correspondents' Dinner, Don was able to finesse it and let him see through spoken words how you don't have the full picture. And once he schooled him, this young man came out on the other side, realizing that, oh, wait a minute, I need to do my homework, like we all have been doing.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say the same thing, August. He didn't start it. There were a lot of independents out there. What he did was say, hey, us more big time media journalists that have been on the mainstream for all these years, we have a place over here in YouTube. And he showed that what he could do as a mainstream media personality and a great journalist. So absolutely.
And when they fired him, they thought, oh, you'll just fail. You'll just fail. And it seemed like it took Don about a year. I think it was about a year before he said, I'm gonna go to YouTube. So if you'd like to continue to, unless somebody would like to say something, we
Well,
we
no,
can go.
because he was going to go to X, remember?
Oh
At
yes,
first.
and that was up. I thought he had lost his mind when he said he was gonna go to X.
Me too.
I said,
That was an amazing interview.
on the X.
Yeah. That was an amazing interview, though, I gotta say. She really brought out a lot of stuff.
And Elon Musk said, "Oh, this interview is over." I mean,
and then that deal, another thin-skinned man.
Yep.
So
definitely the first of what came, and it's been, I think it's been good for everyone because they know that they have a place and that people will listen, and we are all hungry for the truth.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's where it's at. Yeah.
Yep. It's all about the truth.
Yeah. So continue.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
In a building, just a motherfucking cubicle. They just got all these
Just you the cleaning
valuables
services.
Yeah. I'm retired from stealing, but but I think Don's firing showed us years ago, 3-4 years ago, where things were starting to head when we're talking about the idea of how much freedom of speech do journalists really have.
But I think the thing is, for me, if I turn into the Weather Channel, I expect to see the weather. If I turn into this channel, because they're trying to be something, Fox makes no bones about what they are, about who they are.
Yeah.
When you watch their network, you're going to get what you expect to get.
Yeah, but you also got to remember that a lot of these media habits were developed under 2 terms of Obama. So the idea of this being a liberal leaning thing, well, it's the popular thing right now. So we're going to lean into what's popular. And then when that's not popular no more, then you start figuring out how to rejigger your network because people's taste change. People's political influences change. And we have to stop thinking about corporations and media companies as these entities that have some sort of heart or have some sort of degree of sense of responsibility to the nah, big dog, we're here to make money. We need eyeballs so we can sell soap. I had an acting coach said the realest shit to me. She said, you are a soap salesman. Your job is to be so good that people don't change the channel when the commercial come on so they can be reminded to buy soap.
Wow.
That's it. So if we here to sell soap, then they're going to constantly change. Like even the time, like if you look at what we have on our show, on my show now on Saturday nights, we had on Republican Rep Mike Lawler, we had Tim Burchett. Like these are not good people in my opinion.
Right.
Or these are not people who have voted in the interest of the public, in my opinion.
Okay.
And we have them on. I don't know if these are the same people I would have been able to talk to if I worked at Daily Show, if I was still at the Daily Show, or if those are the type of people that we would have had on as a guest at the Daily Show. But I know for what we're trying to do on our side, we trying to talk a little bit and joke a little bit with both sides.
Right.
I know a lot of people got a lot of opinions because they say you shouldn't platform no assholes, no crazy opinions and stuff like that. But that's what we choose to do.
Have you come to the realization to say, you know what? I'm going to have to change my way of thinking. I'm going to have to be more open-minded because in the past, ain't no way I could have sat down and had a conversation with you guys because you're so far for what I believe in and what I think is in the best interest of the people. But because of this time, as you mentioned, things are changing now. The tides are changing. The winds are blowing in a different direction.
One thing I realized is after that, Don started doing Man on the Street. And he thought outside the box that I even want to go and talk to the constituents. And he was one of the ones that said, I think Donald Trump's going to win. And we was like, I know you crazy, Donald Trump not going to win. You know, this election must be fixed. And boy, I still think it was fixed.
He was right. And that's where he brings in his journalism, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's how he started.
That's
how journalists start. So he brings that to independent media, which is really cool. The couple things I wrote down as I was listening to that. One thing, all of our information is owned by a small group of people, right? And he's right, because it is all about advertising, because that's where it started. And they don't do anything unless it's regulated. So when regulation gets removed, it's free for all. They do what they want. Then you know, it's always about the money, but it's more about the money when they have no regulation. And that's the one thing that over the years, the Fairness Doctrine, the Telecommunications Act, those are things that open the doors for what we see today, especially with Fox. And it scares me because I know a lot of people who watch Fox who think it's the news.
Yeah, I'll never get that. I mean,
oh my God, no.
It's so obvious that it's hype and not real.
A lot of people.
To a lot of people, the way the presentation is like a newscast. They see it as if it's God's honest truth. And Donald Trump has taken them over a long time ago. Even when I was watching Stephen Colbert one night, and the gentleman that was the producer on that show, he said he was moving to CNN, and he said that night he was aiming for Don Lemon's job. And he was using the fact that Don had been drinking on New Year's Eve at the New Year's Eve party, you know, and he went after. And so when he got over there, the first thing he did was took Don Lemon from a PM show to an AM show. And then they put them together with women. And I had to write Don and say, Don, you don't need nobody to co-host with you. You don't need anybody. You can go in with the clip again for the last time.
Okay, first I want to respond to Katie, right? Can we put Katie's, this one? Okay, so unfortunately, a lot of older people don't know that you can get your YouTube and TV. There's news on YouTube. A lot of older, because I'm just speaking from my experience, you know what the algorithms do, right? So if you are someone that watches Fox, and if you watch a lot of YouTube, the algorithm is going to feed you all right wing. It doesn't matter if it's independent. It's still going to be right wing because you watch Fox News. And that's the scary part. And we talked about it Tuesday in the interview that Kamala did with Diary of a CEO podcast. I highly recommend everybody watch it. She talks about that fact, and she reiterates and knows that people live in two different media systems, completely different realities when it comes to the information that they're getting. And, you know, again, part of what I study and what I write about and what I'm reading is how do we intervene in this? What are the solutions to get past this? Because it's not going to get better until people start wanting and looking for the truth.
And it seemed like to me that Disney is retaliating because since I have YouTube television at home, they no longer broadcast ABC. Not only I can't see it at home on the TV, so anything that got to do with ABC, I can't see anymore unless I subscribe and pay. And that's because they done lost so much money. They want you to pay to see The View. They know The View is one of their top rated shows. And I do miss my Whoopi.
I get The View on YouTube. I don't have YouTube TV.
You don't?
I get it on YouTube.
I don't get it at all.
I do pay for premium YouTube, not YouTube TV. I pay for premium YouTube, which is like $14 a month. It's not a lot. But I do get The View. I can watch The View. Okay, let's continue.
I think one big thing that I would love to see happen in media is that there's less conversations with pundits and political influencers and more conversations with constituents.
Oh, okay.
And the people who.
So you like the town hall setups?
Yeah, but even more man on the street. Like I love what Don Lemon's doing now. Don Lemon out there taking it to the folks. Yeah, he out there in the mix. No security either. Don, get you in a tight shirt. Protect you, brother. Like, but the idea of just, well, Trump's the president, so I guess I gotta explain to me why I should not have slavery in my museums. Please tell me. Like, it's the African American History Museum. History means encompassing the entirety, or as much as you want to encompass
history, not his story.
Yeah.
So they're trying to frame it as his story.
It's their story. It ain't even his. Their story. It's their story. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to sit and listen to you explain to me why this doesn't matter. I don't know how much calm and collected conversation you can have with somebody that's that steadfast. If we're talking policymakers and folks that are like political pundits on either side of an issue, right?
Because everybody got their talking points.
Correct.
And they're not deviating.
But if you talk to a voter, most people are single issue voters. Most people are voting on things that affect them directly, fiscally speaking.
But we didn't see that in this last election. People voted against their best interests, and now they're having revisionist history.
Okay, and so then would you be more inclined to talk to them? Because I feel like we would rather talk to the folks that influence those voters rather than just going and talk to the Latino for Trump who just got deported.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them they talked to and they said they still wouldn't have voted for Kamala.
Exactly. I'm looking at the farmers for Trump. Now, China just signed a deal to get soybeans from someone else. They're not buying our soybeans. And now, you know, we hate socialism. We hate welfare. Well, they call it welfare when it refers to us, but they call it subsidies when it refers to somebody else.
Correct.
Now they're about to get subsidized, about to get bailed out. Everybody's for it.
Just like the banks.
I thought you didn't like when somebody got something for nothing.
That's different. That's different. That was the blacks. I'm a good white American. It's supposed to happen to me. I'm white. I mean, that's the biggest magic trick that rich people pull, is getting poor white folks to think that they one of them.
They bought it.
You're not.
They bought it.
You're not. I think that you have a better chance of having conversations with people who vote than members of the media. If we're talking about trying to change the country in any way, you know, I don't know how much we gain anymore from, let me have a sensible conversation with you. We bring them on CNN. We're going to crack these jokes on your ass. And if embarrassment works, cool. If not, cool.
Mm-hmm.
But the idea of, I can't remember who it was or why it was, but Obama had like a beer, it was called the beer summit, or Obama sat down.
Oh yeah, when the police officer and Henry Louis Gates.
Yeah, and Gates had been on Obama's neck. Mm-hmm. Him and Tavis Smiley.
Yeah.
So this idea of let's all sit down and kumbaya, okay, maybe. But I just think both sides, I think we're in a race right now to see which side can activate their voters more. The apathetic voters.
Yes.
I don't think he's flipping people right now.
Yeah, people that have decided there's nothing that he can do to turn them off. And I'm not so sure there was anything that she could have done to turn them on.
You ever met anybody in despair though, bro? Like legitimate hopelessness to the point where they have no choice, or they feel they have no choice, but to buy a lie. And then the embarrassment of saying that you're wrong is too great. So you have to buy the next lie and the one after that. So of course a farmer is never going to come out right and go, yeah, I didn't know that this was going to happen, because they're going to get slapped in the face with I told you so's to no end. And they too scared of the embarrassment. And I'm not going to be the one to tell liberals, yeah, you shouldn't be mean to the people that are suffering who voted for Trump. Well, they suffering too. You passing law, like if the administration is passing laws that make you feel a certain kind of way, yeah, I'm gonna hate on you for voting for them.
Yeah.
So I get where that comes from. Get that shit out your system. I think there's a lot of behavior policing. I just think we 6 months, not even. Yeah, we are. We're almost a year into what's going to be, another 3 years of this.
Yep.
So you got to figure out a way, once you're past getting all that yelling out your system, now that you're broke and now that you need some help on your farm, and you come back in the year, hey, how can I help you?
And you can post the other thumbnail. This is the beginning. This is the beginning. Independent media. If you want to hear the truth, you're going to have to turn away from mainstream media. You're not going to get it there. They are all controlled. I'm thankful for Don Lemon and Joy Reid, like you said, and Jim Acosta and all the others, Michael Cohen, that have come and try to get us the truth and not just make us believe that, like they say, you tell me is you peeing on me and telling me it's raining. Oh, y'all haven't heard that one.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
So no, I need to know the truth and come back in a year. Like they said, come back in a year and let's see what they saying then. Let's see if there's a part 2 to this.
Yeah, exactly.
August.
I'd like to respond to Jazzy's comment about the demographic of Fox viewers, like 47% ages 65.
Most of them are seniors.
Yeah, and then 45 from 50 to 64. About 30% are 30 to 49. So it's a little bit of a
teaching their
breakdown.
kids to be just as racist. That's what I had to learn.
Well, the thing is, we have to also remember that that's more mainstream media, and still it's the older generation that watch like television, right? Or still kind of in the cable world. Doesn't mean they don't watch YouTube as well, but they're under that spell that if it's on TV, it must be true. Or if it's on, a well-known cable channel, it must be true. But we all know it's not. And I think when I was doing the research, I think what they calculated was 75% of what Fox spews, I'm going to use that word, is deceptive.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
Highly deceptive.